right, ladies, if there's one thing, okay, that your father probably never warned you about, is that there's certain things that you should never share with a man. It doesn't matter if you're dating somebody, if you're getting to know someone, if you're in a relationship, there are certain things about yourself that you should never share with a man, okay? These are things that you keep to yourself because sharing them is only going to cause pain, confusion, and disappointment. Now, these are not secrets, okay? Again, sometimes we're just trying to connect and we just overshare so much about our lives that only works against you. All right, so number one on the list, it's insecurities about your appearance. So constantly criticizing yourself. There's certain things that you don't like about yourself, like maybe you don't like the wrinkles that you're getting or something about your face, your nose, your ears. So you always come to your partner to kind of soothe your insecurities. And you know, it's okay to come to your man sometimes and tell him that, you know, if you don't feel good about something, but constantly doing this, okay, it's gonna put him in a position that he cannot really do anything about. And self-confidence, as you know, is something that comes from within. A man can reassure you, but he shouldn't become your full-time confidence booster. So seeking constant validation eventually becomes emotionally exhausting for both people, especially for him. Because the issue that I see a lot is that we want to make our partner our therapist, our best friend, our coach, you know, like help us with everything that we want to work on. And another thing, sometimes these things that you complain about or that you feel insecure about is something that the other person has not even noticed. And now you're planting a seed in their mind to notice these things. Okay, so number two, and this is one that I know most of you know, and that is explicit details about past relationships. Okay, so being honest doesn't mean sharing every intimate detail of your romantic history. In my experience, the less you share, the better. Sometimes you can share, you know, general details about some of your past and the people that you've dated, but never say your body count, how many people you've been intimate with, and if somebody's really stressing about those things, because I can tell you honestly, I'm never really stressed about when I've been with a woman, how many men have you been with, any of that. She tells me some stuff about her past, I understand the whole picture of it, but I don't go into there trying to, you know, squeeze out of her all these details about her past. And something that many people do sometimes is that you overshare something about a past relationship that you had, maybe comparing it to the relationship that you have now, because you want to create certain jealousy in him for him to appreciate you. But again, jealousy only comes from the fear of being replaced, not from deeper commitment. If you see that a man is really getting jealous because you're sharing things about your past, this comes from insecurity, from possession, not that he wants deeper commitment with you. And this is the one that I want you to think about. Transparency should build trust, not create images that your partner can never forget. Like sometimes maybe you talk about one night or something that happened to you with somebody, and now you again putting all these images in someone's mind and they can never get them out of their head. Number three, okay, and this one is really important, and that is every family conflict. Constantly venting about family issues, you know, things that are going on in your family can unintentionally damage your partner's view of those people that you love, okay? So if you always come to him, all right, to this man, talking about your mom, talking about your dad, when you go out for dinner, okay, with your family, how do you think he's gonna be perceiving these people that you've been talking about and saying the things that they did that hurt you? So certain family conflicts, you need to keep to yourself, okay? You don't need to share every single thing about your family, especially from the past. And sometimes even later when you make peace with your family, he's going to be looking for little clues, something that they do to tell you, hey, they're doing that thing again. You know, so now he's hyper aware of all these things because you share them with him. So before you share every single disappointment, ask yourself if it's something that he truly needs to know or if you're simply looking to vent in the moment. And this is why it's so important to have a circle of friends, even family members, right? When there's issues in my family, I don't usually go to my partner about these things. I go to my sisters, my cousins, because they know our family. So I go to them. And this is why having different channels in your life, different sources that you can go to vent, to speak about these things, because when you make your partner the center of everything and you give them all this information, it can usually backfire. Number four, how much he affects you, meaning his behavior, his actions, okay? There's nothing wrong with feeling excited about someone, but the problem is when you let him know that your emotional state already depends on his attention. And let me explain what I mean. When you say things like this, I couldn't sleep after our conversation. I've been checking my phone all day waiting for your text. I feel so much better now that you called. I almost sent you another message. So when you say things like this, okay, what you're subconsciously communicating is that the other person, this man, has control over your emotional state. And this is how you end up being taken for granted. Now, let me show you a real life example from a client. Okay, she was messaging this guy that she was talking to, and he was kind of giving her mixed signals. So she sent this message as a way to end the connection and maybe continuing it, later on. And I want you to pay attention, okay, to the things that she said, because this is something that a lot of women repeat. So she said, I want to be honest with you as I was when I first started talking, okay? I do like you a lot, which is why this has been difficult for me. So now you're saying, I like you a lot and this is difficult, okay? I know you're genuinely busy and exhausted and I'm not blaming you, but the uncertainty around our connection has left me waiting and overthinking, right? So now you're saying that you're waiting and you're overthinking about this. You're telling him about your complete emotional state. You're giving him all the power, telling him, hey, this is how much you are affecting me with this thing, even though he has not even replied to her. And all of this is making him value you less, okay? Because now you're telling him that he's responsible for your whole emotional state. And final number 5 is negative comments from friends, okay? Very similar to the family one. Sometimes we go to our friends and we're venting about our partner and then they make a comment about him. And then you go to him and you say that, Ariana told me that you don't treat me well. And now you're going to be causing friction between Ariana and your man, okay? And so you don't want to do this. You don't want to be sharing the things that your friends say about him, some comments that they make, or you start comparing him to your best friend's partner. Oh, but Adam treats Ariana this way and you don't do that for me. These are some of the worst things that you can do. Passing along criticism from your friends that they said about him can create wounds that are difficult to heal. Also, most friends don't have healthy advice when it comes to relationships, okay? Especially women. This is something that I find, I have 3 sisters. So something that I see with them a lot is when they go to their friends and the advice that their friends give them, I'm like, don't listen to that. Because again, sometimes people are trying to protect you because they love you, but the advice that they're giving you, especially if they don't even have a healthy relationship themselves, is something that is going to ruin your own relationship. So before you repeat a negative comment, something that your friend said about him, okay, ask whether it's going to actually help your relationship or is simply going to create unnecessary doubt and tension. So healthy relationships are not built by sharing everything. They're built by knowing what creates trust and what creates unnecessary pain. Now, being selective is not the same as being dishonest. It's choosing transparency with wisdom rather than sharing without purpose. So protect your relationships with men, your connections with men, by communicating with intention. All right, so I hope that you found this insightful, and if there's a question, maybe a concern, something that you're thinking about sharing with him, but you're not 100% sure if you should do it, just let me know in the comments, and I'll try to respond as many as I can. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and remember that for your relationships to change, you need to change, okay? Have a beautiful day.